Marshes are an incredibly valuable type of ecosystem, providing floodwater management and water filtration benefits to nearby human settlements and serving as a home to many sensitive and threatened species. But in North America, marshes are being threatened by an invasion that could dramatically change them. Phragmites australis, also known as common reed, is a tall grass species introduced from Europe. It grows in thick bunches, choking open waterways and marshes, blocking more sunlight than native vegetation, and generally making the habitat in a marsh denser and more difficult for animals to move through. Scientists are concerned about common reed invading North American marshes because it could be degrading the habitat for species of concern like American bittern, least bittern, and Virginia rail. Birds like bitterns and rails hunt by stalking through the plants, looking for amphibians and insects, and thick grasses could prevent them from hunting effectively. These grasses could also affect other species that rely on native plants for food and shelter. Even the flow of water in marshes can be changed by different vegetation. Thicker vegetation reduces the amount of standing water in wetlands by changing their soil structure, reducing their filtration abilities and their ability to soak up excess water after storms. Taller grasses also increase the amount of evapotranspiration that happens, drawing water up through their stems and releasing it into the atmosphere through their leaves. In a recent study, scientists tried to determine if common reed is causing problems for the birds in the coastal marshes of Lake Erie. A previous study in the same area years ago determined that Phragmites was not harming the birds there, but scientists are concerned that the effects of the grass invasion may be different now due to time lags, which are often present as natural systems shift and change. Common reed is opportunistic in its invasion, colonizing spots that may have been disturbed by human activities, and its range may be expanding due to climate change. The scientists conducting the more current study measured the amount of light available on the ground under native vegetation versus the invasive grass, and found that areas of the marsh invaded by common reed are darker and more dense than those of native plants. This could cause problems for bigger birds that may want to nest or forage in areas of the marsh invaded by Phragmites. The scientists also spent a lot of time watching and listening for birds in the marshes. If you're interested in learning how to bird, stay tuned, because in the next few weeks I'm going to be posting a few videos to help you develop the skills to get started in this very popular hobby. The scientists looked and listened for birds in 4 habitat types within the marshes: open water, cattails, water meadows, and areas invaded by common reed. They found fewer species and fewer individual birds in the invaded areas than in any of the native habitats, and most of the birds found among the Phragmites are what we would call generalist species, meaning they can survive in a wide variety of habitats, whereas the birds known as marsh specialists were only found in the native marsh habitat areas. This result shows that common reed changes what birds are able to live in a marsh. The effect could be especially strong when looking at meadow marsh and open water areas. These habitats facilitate foraging for a lot of different marsh birds, including bitterns, rails, and a wide variety of ducks. If Phragmites replaces meadow marsh and chokes open waterways, these birds will have to find somewhere else to forage for food. The scientists also found evidence to support the idea of a time lag being the cause for the optimistic results of the earlier study. Phragmites australis stands grow wider and denser over time, meaning that the negative effects of the invasion aren't immediately apparent in newly colonized ecosystems. So why do we care? Like I said, marshes and other wetland habitats are important for many threatened species, so invasive plants that make these habitats no longer suitable for those species are a problem. Additionally, if the physical structure of a marsh is changed due to the higher density of a grass like common reed, that could affect the marsh's ability to moderate the effects of flooding events on the surrounding area, including homes and businesses. Phragmites invasion is something we should all be aware of. This video is based off a scientific paper shared with me by the lead author on Twitter. I'm always on the lookout for exciting new scientific research papers with a good story, so if you read or write something that you think would make a good video, send it my way. I also plan on making a video at some point in the near future about how to read scientific papers, since sometimes they can be a little dense. If you liked this video, don't forget to like it. If you didn't like this video, please share it with someone who would. And if you'd like to support the Roving Naturalist, remember to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and read more science on my blog. I'll also be a periodic contributor on the radio show Blue Dot, so you should go check that out as well. And if you really like nerdy things, you should find Dungeon Dwellers on Twitch, where I'll be playing Dungeons & Dragons every other Monday evening. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.